I think people get tattooed because, you know, there's not a lot of real stuff left in the world, and it's all like a 24-hour news cycle. Nothing lasts. With tattooing, it's blood, it's pain, it's permanence. You know, when you get that needle in your skin for the first time, you have to be there. You can't just call it in. You have to sit there and take the pain, and then sit there and heal it, and then you got to live with the consequences of your action. Hey guys, welcome to the show today. We're on episode 2 of season 2. And we'll have I got some good topics for today. Good topics. I guess one of the things that I get asked the most when I'm tattooing, when I'm working on clients or I meet people socially, is how did you learn? Did you take a TAFE course? Did you go to school? I mean, how did you get into tattooing, right? And I always explain that tattooing is a little bit like, say, drug dealing, right? Like, there is no clear and defined pathway that every single person takes, right? Some people are autodidactic, you know, they teach themselves. Some people do a professional or an official, a traditional apprenticeship. Or you just get hired in a shop and you know, maybe don't do an apprenticeship like per se, but you start sweeping the floors and you work your way up. So kind of an apprenticeship, but maybe a little less formalized. But there's really, you know, those are really the only ways, right? You can teach yourself or you can get taught. There are no schools, right? Well, we'll get to that. But for me, what I tell everyone and what the truth of the matter is that I started off being autodidactic. I experimented and I tried some stuff. This is a long time ago, like in the 80s. And then once I started tattooing in a shop and I realized I knew fucking nothing, I went and put myself under people whose work I respected and liked and wanted to learn from, and made myself a student of many different tattooers all over the world. So traveling and the people I worked with, and I still see myself as a student now, a practicing student. So that's how I got into it. Lately, you know, probably in the last 20 years, in various countries that have had licensing schemes or qualification requirements to tattoo, there's been these pop-up tattoo shops that have tried, right? And they've been getting shut down. You know, there was a show on TV years ago. They tried to pilot about a tattoo school, and that got protested and shut down. They regularly get burnt to the ground, firebombed, threatened. People who have tried in the industry to start tattoo schools generally, you know, get convinced that that's a bad idea. Up until probably 10 years ago, 15 years ago, there wasn't really any books on how to tattoo. There was one put out by Huck Spalding back in the 80s, the A to Z of tattooing, which was a real old school sort of, you know, how to tattoo manual. That's one of the books I read when I first started tattooing back in the 80s, which gives you the basics of how to set up a machine and how to do all that stuff. And that was interesting. It is very, I mean, like I always tell my apprentices and other people is that, you know, making a tattoo, setting a machine, making a line is, you know, it's easy, man. A monkey can do it, right? You're no more a tattoo artist with a tattoo machine than you are a chef holding a knife, right? There's so much more than cutting stuff that makes you a chef. Or having a pair of scissors doesn't make you a hairstylist, right? So it's all the other stuff that goes into it that makes you a professional and competent tattooer, right? The actual tattooing, the actual physical putting the line in the skin or making the shades is a very small part of what it means to be a professional tattooer. And when I say professional, I mean all-encompassing, right? Like good with hygiene, good with art, good with organizational skills, good with business, good with clients, moral and ethical, right? There's a lot of different facets and factors of being a professional. And you know, you can't learn that stuff on YouTube videos. You can learn how to set up a tattoo machine and make a line and trace a picture. You know, sure, anyone can do that now, right? I mean, that's, you know, the cat's out of the bag, right? So there's been a lot of people trying to capitalize on this, you know, through various means, like online. In America, there's a lot of online, you know, tattoo courses, right? Which in some states are required to get your tattoo license. You have to do this course. And so these companies have done this, made these courses online that are required by the state, and it's a money-making scheme. that just teaches you usually the basic hygiene and some basic stuff. Other people, rogue operators, have attempted to start actual schools to teach people how to tattoo, or lure in, gullible, naive people that think this is going to give them a pathway into tattooing. Right? Now, I want to make it real clear, right? If you go to a tattoo school to learn how to tattoo, like in Thailand or one of these countries where they have them, you will not get a fucking job in a serious tattoo shop. No one will take you seriously. I don't take them seriously. I've had people come in here and show me their certificate of completion of tattoo school, and I just laugh them out the door, right? That's not the way to learn how to tattoo. No one is going to take that seriously and give you a job. I mean, there might be some people in a shit shop run by other fucking dipshits, but if you want to be a serious professional tattooer, that's not the route to take, right? The route to take is a traditional apprenticeship. Go work in a good shop with good people and get taught the proper way and get taught all the facets of tattooing, right? Because these schools, it's like DJ school, right? It's the same shit, right? They're capitalizing on trendy stuff. Like, how can we make money off this shit, right? Well, let's get some fucking half-ass fucking tattooer, doesn't know what the fuck he's doing, right? Who's not a success in the career. Like they say, right? If you can, you do. If you can't, you teach, right? So they get some dimwit fucking tattooer who can't tattoo, and they get them teaching fucking tattoo courses. And these people do like a 6-week course, and they've got their little certificate, and they can make a fucking thing, and they can trace a fucking thing, and they think they're a tattooer, right? It's sad, right? And I hate to see it, and those courses are usually pretty expensive. Now, in a lot of countries, these schools have popped up, and they've been shut down, like I said. Here in Australia, we've been very fortunate that anytime someone has tried to start one of these schools, we have, and I say we collectively, the industry, the older people, have managed to stop that, right? The problem is that, we just want to be left alone to do our tattooing, right? And we're self-regulating the industry. But like the tattoo pigment fiasco going on in Europe and the one they attempted here, they don't want to leave us alone. So at some point, there might have to be something that, comes forward where we create some sort of structure or guidelines on how we self-regulate the industry. But at this point, I don't know what that looks like, right? But what I do know is that these people trying to start schools don't have tattooing's best interests at heart, right? And I might sound like a gatekeeper here, and I am. I am a gatekeeper, for sure. I make no excuses for that, right? I want to protect tattooing, right? I don't want tattooing. If you will see, if tattooing becomes a fucking course at the community college, you will see tattooing absolutely fucking destroyed. You will see tattooers everywhere, shit shops everywhere, and it will lose its magic and mystique even more so than it has now. Tattooing does need to be protected, right? I mean, tattooing's a special thing, and even now, it's gotten pretty mainstream, and you see the media's using it for everything, and every fucking ad has tattooed people in it, and it's mostly shit tattooing, right? Mostly little tiny stuff and little sketchy stuff, and I mean, celebrity, fucking J-Lo, right? One of the biggest stars, just got a fucking infinity symbol with initials on it, on her fucking ribs with an arrow through it, like a full Pinterest tattoo. Super wealthy, rich, connected, elite celebrity getting fucking basic bitch Pinterest tattoos. This is the state of mainstream tattooing. This is the stuff they put on TV and ads and stuff like this, And this isn't what tattooing's supposed to be. I mean, tattooing's not supposed to be for everybody. Right? Especially with what I do with big Japanese stuff. It's not for everybody. Right? And there's so much absolute fucking garbage Japanese tattooing out there that, on the face of it, doesn't really look bad. But when you look at it and you start dissecting it, it's hot garbage. And this is, again, the problem of so many people coming into the industry. It used to be a funnel, right? It used to be you could get into the industry this way. right? Because you couldn't tattoo otherwise. If you couldn't make tattoo needles, you couldn't tattoo. If you didn't know how to mix ink, you couldn't tattoo. So those two things, big components, right? Needles and ink. If you can't make a tattoo needle, there was literally no way for you to tattoo, right? And that was probably the biggest gatekeeper to tattooing was needle making. And then in early 2000s, the Chinese started flooding the market with pre-made tattoo needles, and every fucking dipshit could start tattooing, right? And that's what opened the floodgates to where we are now. Right now it's even worse. Now they've got the wand pens, the click and collect fucking shit, right? Plug and play. And, you know, people are learning how to tattoo, and they're doing decent looking tattoos, right? But they have no fucking clue what they're doing, whether they should be doing it, the morals of it, the longevity, all this fine line stuff. All this fine line stuff is going to fall out. These are not permanent tattoos, right? These are tattoos that in 5 years are going to look like fucking little blurry lines. Right? And the cosmetic industry has a lot to do with this. The cosmetic industry has schools how to make, cosmetic makeup tattooing. And so they're teaching young people through these courses on how to tattoo fine line stuff under the guise of its cosmetic tattooing. See, here in New South Wales, where I live, you need a tattoo license to tattoo. It's all run by the police. We get background checks. We get fingerprinted. We get photographed. You know, we'll probably get a DNA swab next time. And we are super regulated, like as if we're freaking criminals, right? But the cosmetic industry has none of that. So you can tattoo someone's fucking eyelids, eyebrows, eyeliner. You can tattoo their lips straight off the street, no fucking nothing, right? You can open up a cosmetic spot right beside me, and you have no regulation. Whereas here, I get the cops coming through here with the fucking dogs, going through my financials, right? Checking us out, treating us like the mafia, right? And now these cosmetic schools are offering cosmetic tattooing and fine line tattooing, right? As a service. So you can get your little eyeliner done and your lips done and get a little fine line dolphin at the same time, right? So it's a little bit of a loophole that they're trying on, right? So it's pretty funny, but I digress. Learning how to tattoo, learning how to do it the right way is important, right? And it's important to keep the culture of the industry alive. Because when the culture dies, it's like music, right? We all listen to music now, like us older people, and we go, fuck, they don't make music like they used to, right? There's not bands like they used to, because the music industry got taken over, right, by these corporate forces that just turned it all to shit, right? They don't make good movies like they used to. They don't make good TV shows like they used to, right? And tattooing is going to become the same fucking thing. You're going to have these corporate tattoo events. I mean, even in America, a lot of these tattoo supply companies are corporate owned, like Wall Street, publicly traded corporate companies like Kingpin Tattoo, right? Fully corporate. And so if they manage to make tattoo schools and get it out there and start churning out these corporate tattooers, I guarantee you tattooing will become a fucking shit show, right? More so than it is now. So keep that in mind, right? Keep that in mind that, you know, if you or someone you know is thinking about becoming a tattooer, tattoo schools are not the way to go. And shunning tattoo schools and mocking them is definitely the way to go. I know a lot of guys my age, they don't take apprentices, right? Like big name dudes. I do. I want to give back. I want to create a new generation of switched on, ethical, traditional mindset tattooers. At the moment, I've got 2 apprentices. Been here for a few years, and they're totally in the right fucking headspace, right? And I love that. I love teaching them stuff. I love sharing my stuff with them. You know, and I tell them, like, 3, 4, 5 years, you'll be a competent tattooer, right? You want to hang out longer, you want to learn tabori, you can do that too. It's a long program, right? I mean, I've been tattooing 30 years this year, and I'm still figuring shit out, right? As you should be, right? So it's a never-ending fucking cycle of learning. I mean, guys saying, "Oh, I've been tattooing fucking 5 years. I know what I'm doing." Blah blah blah. Man, fuck. Good for you, right? But there's so much more to tattooing. And this is why some people, you look at their work or their career, and you're like, "Fuck, man, you've accomplished so much." And then you look at other people. I mean, I know people that have tattooed in the city, good tattooers. I mean, on the face of it, their work looks good, but they can't build a clientele, right? They're doing something wrong, right? There's something missing from their equation, right? And then I know other guys that their work's okay. I mean, it's not the best work, but they're fucking busy. They got a good reputation because they put that extra into it, right? So it's finding that balance of, you know, being a good tattooer, being good with clients, being business-minded, organized, on time, responsive to emails. There's all these things involved, right? And that's all shit you're not going to learn in fucking school, right? So the industry needs to be self-regulated, and clients need to support tattoo shops that are independent and self-regulate, and not these shops that are churning out, you know, crap, right? So anyways, that's my rant for today. You can probably guess from my rant that there's been some stuff going on, which is why I'm talking about it. I don't think a lot of people understand how tattooing works in the background, how we learn, how the industry protects itself. I mean, you understand, like, the government and the powers that be fucking hate us, right? They hate tattooing. They hate that people mark themselves and make themselves independent and all this stuff, right? That's why they fuck with us so much, right? So every chance that they get, they will fuck with us even more, which is why it's important for us. This is why, you know, we don't tattoo faces at my shop. And I've had a no hands, no neck policy for years and years and years. I don't tattoo hands or necks. We allow them here now on people that have got stuff already and are heavily tattooed, because it's a part of a self-regulating mechanism, right? If we just go free for all, like, yeah, fuck, get your face done, get your hands, your necks, it makes tattooing look bad, right? And it's not good for the industry. And people don't seem to fucking get that. The more that you degenerate tattooing, the easier a target we become to be overregulated by the government, right? So that's just my take. Not everyone agrees with that. A lot of tattooers have their hands and necks and faces tattooed. Good for them, not for me. But that's my take on how I self-regulate. Is I keep my output from my studio clean and ethical, and I can stand behind everything. I'm not going to tattoo some 18-year-old girl's fucking hand or face with some shit, because I personally don't think it's the moral thing to do. I don't think it's right, right? And so that's all part of how, you know, if I were to write guidelines on how to tattoo, not how to tattoo it, what you should know if you are a tattooer, things that we need to know, that would be one of them, right? As an example. So anyways, that's enough for today. Thanks for listening, guys. Any comments or questions you have about this topic, I'm happy to have a discussion, a friendly discussion. Hit me up in the comments, shoot me a DM, and we can discuss it further. And any other topics you want me to cover in the future, as always, I'm all ears. You know where to leave the comments and let me know. All right, guys, have a great day, and I'll see you next time.